We'll be joined by an indigene of Benue State. He's joining us all the way from Abuja. Reverend Peter Ochil is our guest this morning. Rev, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, thanks you once again for joining us for this conversation since yesterday.
Yes.
All right, great. So, listeners, we are live on Facebook at Lagos Talks 913, so you could go to Facebook to engage us and be a part of this conversation. Let's get straight into this conversation, right? We'll take a short break shortly, but let's engage you right now. Following yesterday's activities, let's take it from there. When we had an interview in the morning, you spoke about how President Jonathan supported Governor Susuam at that time to mitigate and control the narrative, not the narrative, but the attacks, to confront the attack. You spoke about how President Buhari was not really seen doing much to fight the invaders. Now, you spoke about the understanding of the current governor, how his narratives are not very well cut out. You were querying his understanding or his motive, saying, is it that he lacks understanding of the actual facts, or he's just selling a different narrative? Now, that was where we had to end yesterday. But now let me ask you this question with the president. You've spoken about President Jonathan. You've spoken about President Buhari. What has been, in your view, the steps taken by this president? How would you rate his should I say his knowledge or interest in resolving this matter?
Yeah, two things are involved. Number one, the chief security officer of the state is the governor. The governor's version is what a president must believe, hook, line, and sinker. Even the military commanders cannot be more excited about fighting insurgency more than the governor who is there, because he does not only control the security votes, but he also controls the levels of power. And so the problem here, number one, is that the governor has been consistently on the side of the invaders, so it appears. And
when you say consistently on the side of the invaders, what has he done in particular that proves this?
Good. He continuously blames the victims. The other time he blamed the victims for rustling cattle. Sometimes he even says it is his political opponents that are instigating attacks on Benue State to make him look awkward. And he has many versions to the story. Sometimes it says it's invaders from Mali. Sometimes it says they are local gangs. And so the version that we all know and the victims can testify about is the Fulanis, the headsmen. This is the consistent narrative that the governor wants to change. Now, the president can only depend on what the governor tells him. And the president can only depend on what the governor tells him. But if the president acts outside the governor, what the governor says, he may have a clash with the governor. But they also expect the DSS and other security agencies to feed the president with the right narrative. Because one problem in one state, apart from being the president of Nigeria, he is the supervisor of every state. And so he needs to get information outside the box of government. He needs to get information from his other security agencies in Benue State to enable him take the right decision. Because one problem in a problem in one state can snowball into other states. So the president.
Right. So yeah. This is what we'll do. We'll take a quick break, but when we come back, would quiz some of the words you've used, the foreign invaders or not, local clashes, but we'll get into that after this break. Don't change your dial. We are engaging Reverend Peter Echel, an indigene of Benue who has an understanding of what is going on there. Thank you so much, Rev, for staying with us on the show this morning.
Thank you.
All right. So you're talking about the narratives of the president, of the governor, saying it talks about foreign collaborators, non-Nigerian invaders coming into the system to take over. These are narratives we've heard that a lot of the Fulanis that attack are not solely indigenous to Nigeria, but they have their collaborators within Nigeria. Are you saying that none of this is true? And are you also saying that there is no ethnic rivalry within groups in Benue State that at times escalates into violence of this level?
Okay, let's get it straight. The governor of Benue State once said that Fulani anywhere is Fulani, whether they're from Mali or from Ghana, wherever they are. Once they're there, they're Fulanis. You cannot begin to separate and pick and cherry pick Fulanis. Fulani is Fulani. Whether they come from the sky or from the moon or from the sea, they are still Fulani. And the mission is one. They come with one agenda to displace and take over. This is very clear. It's part of their culture that they displace people.
Now, while I understand that, we're trying to get an understanding of what's happening. That's why I'm probing you more on this. So, have you ever, in the history of Benue State, even prior to the emergence of what's his name, former governor Gabriel Suswam as the governor, had you Fulanis residing in Benue?
Not as residents.
Not as residents.
Not as residents, not in a significant demography that we describe as residents.
Community.
No.
Okay. So you never had, like we had the Zongos in many parts of Nigeria, you never had like a community of Fulanis in Benue prior
no,
to...
we don't. What we have what we call Hausa and one Hausa, which is Hausa quarters, which accommodates is like a Muslim enclave where they have their mosque and they have their facilities for worship and business. But there is no community that has a significant demography that can be described as a Fulani community. We've never had that. We have had them coming to trade and go back.
So now, you're saying right now they're coming to cleanse, should we call it ethnic cleansing or more of displacement of a particular ethnic group or two major ethnic groups in Benue State? That is what you're saying is happening.
Yes, the evidence is there. If you go to West, for example, 70% of the residents in those areas have left. They have fled. And those areas are presently, as we speak, occupied by headsmen. If you go to Logo, towards the riverine area, you will see the same arrangement. Go back to Guma, is the same arrangement. Go back to Agatu, they have sent away the residents and presently occupy the area. So the consistent pattern makes, gives credence to the fact that the intention is to take over the lands.
All right. And okay, so you're saying that apart from the narrative of the governor, which you disagree with, prior to this, what has the governor been able to do, or what has been happening generally from the governor, one person, and from the federal government in regulating or managing these attacks or preventing these attacks?
Honestly, apart from Goodluck Jonathan, all other presidents have not shown sufficient interest in stopping this carnage and stopping the aggression. Apart from President Jonathan, what complicates the present situation is that the governor is playing fifth columnist. That's all one can say, because he appears to be more on the side of the aggressors than on the side of his people. And he knows this very well. That has been the problem of the people with him. He came in and he was loved by everybody. But right now, his popularity has dwindled because he's not on the side of the people.
But there's this conversation that it is some politicians that are behind this. You reference that as well, that there has been that talk. And what has been said is that when he came, he's not moving with previous politicians, whether in his party or outside his party, particularly in his party. He's taking decisions on his own, and they feel angered by that. So they are turning the people against him, and they are orchestrating these attacks. In your view, is that a true narrative?
That's completely untrue. There's no iota of truth in that assertion. I think what it is, this is something like alibi, creating a narrative that justifies his action and excuses him from doing his work, doing his duty. Now, these politicians he accuses, are they in control of the security votes? Security votes that come to Benue are close to 3 billion. Who else can take that amount of money to organize insurrection against his own people? The governor holds this money to himself. And even the military commanders in the state, if you interview them intimately, they will let you know that they have not been supported. They have not been supported as other governors had supported them. So it's the governor's fault that he has not deployed the security votes at his disposal massively to control the insurgency. It's the governor's fault. He cannot blame any politicians because they're not in control of the security vote.
All right. You are in touch with your people back in Benue, though you're in Abuja currently.
Yes.
Between yesterday and today, when the IGP got there, we hear that the NSA is there and some other security chiefs. Can you confirm this narrative for us?
Yes, they come and go. And for example, the other day,
so this is the first. Sorry, this is not the first time they are coming there. They've been coming and going.
The other time, Buhari sent the IGP to relocate. The man came there in less than 24 hours. He went back to Abuja, and the thing continued. Recently, like a week ago, the chief of army staff was sent there. The news was all over that he has relocated to Benue. Within 48 hours, he was back in Abuja. And after 3 days, we had the heaviest attack ever. So the federal government must show commitment to the people of Benue State, because the whole world is watching what the federal government.
So what you're saying for a fact today is that beyond the press, the media show that heralded the relocation of the chief of army staff to Benue, you are saying he has not relocated. He only visited and stayed for a while.
He only visited and stayed for a while. They know the sports. We all are familiar with the sports where they strike. There are familiar sports where they strike, and we expect more security presence at those flashpoints. But they come and hit and go back, and there's no single arrest. There's never been any single arrest since these things have been going on. So there's complete lack of commitment on the side of the federal government.
So if you're saying that the governor has not supported in any way, the military, like we all say in Nigeria, don't necessarily report to the governor. They report to the chief, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. They are there in Benue. All these attacks happen. Are you saying the military look away every time such an attack happens?
That's what it appears, because they came to North Bank. North Bank has the heaviest presence of the military. We have the NASMI, the Nigerian Army Engineers. We have the 72 Battalion, and we have the Air Force Tactical Air Command in Makati. But very close to these areas, attacks come and go, and no single arrest is made.
No arrest, and these attacks are not prevented?
And no one prevents the attacks. Recently, one soldier was killed and one other civil defense official was killed, according to news. But it means there was no heavy military presence there to repel the attacks. And sometimes these people give warning before they come.
Oh, really?
And they give warning, and this warning is made public to both the governor, and everybody knows that this are coming, and they give time frames and fulfill those time frames without being repelled.
Wow. Okay, so this is new. They give the signal that they are coming, prepare for us, and there's no security presence to prevent the attack from happening.
Precisely.
Okay, following the president's directive yesterday, do you see any resolution to this anytime soon, or do you think it's just another show of a media charade that is going on?
First of all, let me fault the framing of the president's statement.
Okay.
I fault the framing of the president's statement by saying that the warring factions to come together. I earnestly want the president, he's going to visit. I expect him to visit and pay condolence visits on both sides, in quotes, in parentheses, so that we can, for the first time, know the other side that he's talking about. Because we know that this is a one-sided war from armed herdsmen against unarmed farmers. So when you talk about both sides, I don't understand. No one understands the other side, because we've never seen any arrest. They don't have a community in Benue that the president would visit and commiserate with. But we only have one side, the people, residents, and communities that have been attacked. So that framing is wrong. Secondly, I think he used the words like living at peace with one another. I don't also understand that somebody's children are sleeping, women are sleeping, and people come and burn them into ashes. And then you want the ashes to make peace with those who have run away? It makes no sense. The statement was watery, very provocative, and very offensive, and an insult to the sensibilities of the people. The president should reframe that statement. Even the Pope acknowledged that 200 people were killed. But that's the correct version. The governor of the state reported 59 people. So you can see that the governor is the one giving the wrong information across the country. So that version, that letter, the president should readdress that, should rephrase that letter.
All right, so quickly, if you can do this in 10 seconds for me. When the president gets to Benue today, what do you want the president to do specifically?
I expect the president to call a spade, because by now he must have gotten access to the correct version. So he must call a spade, to name names and tell the Fulanis to stop harassing and killing and maiming Benue people. It's as clear as that. One statement will suffice. Just one statement will suffice.
Reverend Peters Ichel, an indigene of Benue, a proud one at that, who has an understanding of what's going there, has spoken, and that is his message to Mr. President and to Nigerians. Thank you so much for your time, Reverend Ichel.
Thank you for the interview.
All right.